Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. In this video, I will be explaining about what is GitOps and why do we need them. So we need to know what is the problem statement before addressing the GitOps model. So let us assume that the developer develops the code in Git. Once the development is complete, as a next thing, you need to build and create a package. And then you need to push your package into the deployment server. So basically what your push will happen, it will move your package from build machine to the deployment server. So it looks good, but still there are like couple of problem statement which I would like to call out. So the number one, the deployment server has no clue about Git changes. That means that after your deployment, if any changes happens in the Git, will not get updated on the deployment server until someone push the code. So even if there are latest change, your deployment server will not know there is a latest code available for deployment. So then second problem statement is very hard to tell which is the latest, whether your deployment server has the latest changes or it is whether you have a Git as a latest change. That means there is no single source of truth between your deployment server and Git, which means that let's say if I have an access to your deployment server, I go and modify and try to fix some problems on the deployment server. That means your deployment server will be the latest, but your Git will be outdated. So similarly, if I go and change in the Git, but not I did not deploy the code, your Git will be the latest. In both the way, is very hard to tell which has the latest and which is as the outdated. Let us see how Gitops is going to address this problem. So I'm going to divide this Gitops model into three sections. One is build. In your build process, it is going to be exactly the same what we have it in the non-Gitops model. The Gitops model mainly works during the continuous deployment time, and then your deployment will have your deployment server, and then we'll be having a GitOps. These GitOps play a role which will do a pull from your build and push from the deployment. This will be continuously keep checking the status of the build and deployment. If any changes in the build or deployment, GitOps will play an important role. So let us see what it is. So this is your ArgoCD, which I'm going to use it in my example, how this ArgoCD going to perform the GitOps model. So what this ArgoCD will check, it will check the status of your build. Let us assume that your deployment has outdated code, then it will go and pull your, it will go and check what is the package, what is whether if it is having any latest package that will be pulled, and then that will be deployed to your deployment server. And even your GitOps will give you the status that whether the code is out of sync or not. Let us see into a demo how this ArgoCD going to help the GitOps model. So this is my GitHub repository. The Tomcat app is going to be the application repository where your development team will do changes into the Java code and JSP, etc. And the bottom one, which is going to be the GitOps repository, where your DevOps engineer will manage this repository. In this example, I'm having a simple application. So basically, whenever any changes in your image, let us assume whenever I do a new build, then this will get automatically will become 12. So for the demo purpose, I will modify this number to 12 to show the difference in the ArgoCD GitOps. Right now it is says that it is sync, so both your environment and Git are both are same. Let me show you what does it mean. If we go to details, you can see that it has a same set of code by looking at, let me search for Tomcat. You see here the image is Tomcat 11. What I'm going to do, I'm going to modify a code and then I'm going to do a build, and that build will create a new image, and then that became a 12, and after that you will see there will be a out of status. Let me show you that quickly. So let me go to the application repository. This is your application developer repository. I'm going to do some few changes under one of the HTML file. Let me go and modify it before sync. To show out of sync status demo. Let me do a commit change. So whenever you do a commit change, I have configured my Jenkins to run based on the code check-in. For now, I'll put a pause for a few seconds. Yeah, I'd like to show in the meantime, when the build is getting kick off, I wanted to show something what this build job will do. This build job is if you look at my one of my video, I already showed you what this job do. Basically, it will download this Git repository. What developers team has checked in that repository will be downloaded, and then I just configure to run every 1 minute, and then it will do a code compilation, and then it will create a build image. So my current build is 11. When for the new build it will become 12. So and then that will be pushed to your Docker app. Okay. So once it become 12, yeah, build is running. Once that build 12 is complete, you see that number 12. What I will go and do, I will modify my other repository where I mentioned that repository will be managed by the DevOps team. Right now it will be 11. I will modify that to 12. Okay, let us wait once the build is complete. I'll put a video on pause. The build is completed, and yeah, for now you can ignore that error. It's try to delete the image that got created. For now you can ignore that error failure. But if you see here, that 12 is something is what the new image you can see this Tomcat-12 the Docker app. Let me log on. We go to your Docker demo. You can see the Docker Tomcat app-12 got created. Okay, so now if you go to your Gitops demo ArgoCD, you will see some out of sync. Okay, sorry, I did not modify, I did not change that code check-in to 12. That's why it's still showing as sync status. Now I'm going to my GitOps YAMLs because now the new build artifact is 12. Let me modify this to 12. I'm doing a code commit, but usually this process will be automated. That means whenever the build is complete, this particular line will be modified based on the new image that got uploaded in the Docker app. So now you have 12 in your code, but in your ArgoCD, it will in your Kubernetes cluster, it will be having 11. So let me refresh the apps. Okay, you see here, it is out of sync. So you can even make it auto sync. But for now, to show this demo, I configured as manual sync. Okay, so let me go and sync up. Okay, before syncing up, I wanted to show something here. So let me show you the app diff. So that is advantage of using GitOps. You can see what is the difference. So you in the environment it has 12, but in your I mean like your code version is 12, but your environment is still 11. So let me go and do a sync up. So you can even do it in an automated way because just for the demo purpose, I wanted to show this difference. That's why I'm doing it manual. Let me sync up. So synchronize. So if you see here, it is just checking the manifest, the YAML file from my GitHub repository. Now it's synced up. So you can even validate this by logging into the Kubernetes cluster. Let me go and quickly check that. So yeah, so let me go and log on to the server kubectl. Okay, this is my Kubernetes cluster, kubectl, it pods. See here, it just restarted 41 seconds back. Okay, so what that means that your Kubernetes cluster also has a latest 12. Okay, maybe let me show you that. Kubectl describe pods Gitops demo. You can see that image version what it got deployed. See here the pulling image. Okay, so whatever I did so far, it's all like manual. You can very well configure this stuff in the settings. Instead of doing it manual, you can modify that into automated. Okay, so in my next video I will put a detailed video on how to install ArgoCD and configure your ArgoCD to perform your both build and deployment through the configuration. So I hope you understand the concept about GitOps and the problem what we have in the non-GitOps and how GitOps is going to address it. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.